In this video, we will discuss about the GST in SAP. So what are the GST tax types we have? So we have CGST, that is for the central GST, SGST, which is for state GST, and IGST. So this is for the integrated GST. So which GST is to be applicable? It depends on the place of the supply. So for example, we have the interstate GST, which is CGST and SGST. So this is applicable when company code and the customer both are in the same state. Equal amount of a percentage will be calculated for the CGST and SGST. So let's suppose if the material price is 10,000, it would be 900 plus 900, 1800. So total price is going to be 11,800. Then we have the IGST. IGST is applicable for the interstate transaction. So we have a company code and customer both are in the different state. So because of having the different state, IGST will be applicable. So let's assume the percentage is 18%. So 18% on the material price 10,000, it is going to be 11,800. There are different rates we have for the GST. So it could be 5%, 12%, 18%, subject to the goods or services. So majorly there are two tax categories. We have input tax and we have the output tax. Input tax we use for the purchases, whereas for the sales we use the output tax. When we talk about the GST in SAP, so for that we need to maintain the tax calculation procedure. In order to maintain the tax calculation procedure, we need to maintain these object called access sequence, condition type. So what is the access sequence? In SAP, access sequence is a search strategy to find the valid condition record. It tells the system in which order to look for the condition record and picks the specific record before the general one. So for example, we have a customer A who is a part of the first strategy table, that is material and customer. In this case, this customer will get the 10% discount. But if the same customer exists in the material strategy table, then he will get the 5% discount, because 5% discount we have for all the customers and 10% discount we have for specific customer. System picks the specific record first and fall back to the journal if not found. This avoid the duplicate condition types and give the flexibility. So this access sequence we maintain under the condition type, and these condition type we use in the tax calculation procedure. We maintain this condition type with the account key. Under the account key, system is going to determine the GL. We will see all these things in detail. So what's the difference between the condition type and condition record? So condition type, it's a kind of a rule or template, whereas a condition record is your actual data which we use in the sale order. So for example, we have a pizza in the menu item, so that could be the condition type. And if we have the price for this item, let's say 300, so this is going to be the condition record for that condition type. So now we will go into a system and we'll understand these objects in a detail level. For this, we need to go to the SPRO, IMG, and then we can go to the financial accounting, global setting. Under the global setting, we have the option tax on the sales and purchases, and then we can go to the basic setting. We can go to this option called check calculation procedure. Whenever we work on any of the tax procedure or any of the tax calculation, it is maintained at a country level. So we have discussed about the access sequences and condition type. Now we will see these things in the system. So first of all, I will just walk you through the tax calculation procedure. We call it as a defined procedure. We can double click on this. And here we have a list of tax calculation procedure. So we can click on position button and we can search for the standard tax calculation procedure provided by the SAP, which is tax INN for the country India. Under this, what we have maintained, let's find out. We need to select this procedure and we need to go to the left side. Here we have the control data. We need to double click on the control data, and here system will just show you the condition types. So these are the condition types we have, and then we have the account key. And if you just notice here, we have the input tax and we have the output tax, and all the input and output condition types are dependent on what? Dependent on the base price, and this is the base price, and that is the reason for all these steps. You will just see the reference step is 100. So 100 is what? 100 is the base price. So it is saying that whether we are calculating the CGST or SGST or IGST, whether it is the input or output, so all these would be dependent on the base price, condition type ID as BSB. So if these condition types are already there, then you don't need to create it. We will go back. And now we will go to the condition type. Find condition type, double click on this. So here you will see the detail about the condition type. So for example, now you want to see the detail about this input tax CGST. So we can search for this ZICG or ZICG. Click on position ZICG, search for it, and we can see the detail. Double click on this. Here it is saying that it is going to be a input CGST and the class is going to be tax only. So we have been given here the option price taxes. So it is going to be used for the taxes. Then the calculation type is going to be percentage. So a specific percentage will be calculated through this condition type. Then the next is condition category. Again, it is standard. It is related to the tax calculation only. So these condition type you will have. So if you have already these condition type in the system, you can use them. If you want to create your own condition types, so you can create your own condition type with the help of this new entry button. Whenever you are creating a new condition type, you need to give the reference of the access sequence. Here we can just see for this condition type, we have the access sequence of MWST, where we will be able to find out the detail about this MWST access sequence. For that, we will just go back, and now we will go to this access sequences. We will double click on this and then press enter button. It is a table cross client, and then we can search for that MWST. Click on position button, search for MWST. So this is the text classification. Under this access sequence, we will be able to find out the strategy, search strategy. So for example, if we just select this access sequence and we go to the access, and here we can just see, and we have the text classification, then we have the text code. So first system is going to search from this table 003. If system is not able to get the information from this table, then it will search for the detail under the next table, which is 4AV. So where you will be able to find out all these table information. For this, you can go to the another transaction code, and for each of these table, what are the fields we have? So this you will be able to find out. So what you need to do? You need to select the table. You can also find out the relevant field under this table. Double click on this. So here we have the field name. It is country or region code, and then we have the text code. So where we will be able to find out the more information about this table number. For that, we need to run a transaction code. So this screen you can open through the V/07. And if you want to see the information about this table number, then for that we can use the another transaction code, which is V/03. Enter. Now you need to enter the table number here. It is 003. You can just see here. We have the table number 003. Now press enter button. We need to go to the display option. Click on the display button. Enter. So we have the field called department, country, and text code, and these are the technical name. So this information system is going to find out first from this table, and then if the system is not able to find out the information from this table, then it will refer to the another table we have in this access sequence. This is 4AV. So let's go to the another table called 4AV, and then again click on display option. Here also we have the text code and country code. So if the system is not able to find out the information from the previous table, then system will be getting the information from this table. So this is how the access sequence is used. So now we will be doing the GST configuration in the SAP system. And for that, we will be using this practice sheet. So in this practice sheet, we have the step number 1, where we need to create the GL. So the GL we will be using for the different input GST. It may be central, state, and interstate. So we will be creating the GL, and for the creation of GL, we will go to the transaction code FS00. So let's go to the transaction code FS00, and here we will be creating the GL. So this input GST is going to be a balance sheet account, and we will be maintaining under the account group asset. And for the asset, we are using the number in starting with the 2 series. So let it be the GL as 200,201. 200,201. Company code is 2266. Click on the new entry button. And then we can give the GL account type ID as a balance sheet account. Account group is going to be asset account. And then we can give the short text, long text as this is for what? This is for the central GST. Central GST. Then we can go to the control data tab. Here we can select the only balance in local currency. So here we can select the text category as import text account. We can give here the sort key as 001, posting date, and field status group general G001. So this is a GL we have created for the central input GST. Same way we will be creating the GL for the state and interstate input GST. So we can save this. So now we can take the reference of this 200,201, copy 200,201, and then we can click on the bit template button. We can give the reference of 200,201 in the company code 2266, and here we can have the text as state input GST, state input GST account. Save it, click on the save option. Then the next GL we can have 200,203. Again click on bit template button, give the reference of 200,201, and this we can give the name as interstate input GST. Interstate input GST account, and we can save it. So post creation of these GL, now we can go to the next step. So we have here created the input GST. Now we'll be creating the GL for the output GST. And here also we'll be creating a 3 different GL for the central, state, and interstate output tax GST. So since for the liability we have given the GL number in starting with 1. So 100,301. So here I am giving this number randomly. We can click on the new entry button. We can give the GL type ID as balance sheet account group as liability. We can give the short text, long text, central output GST, central output GST account. Go to the control data. Here we can select only balance in local currency. Text category, now this time we can select output tax account, enter. We can give the sort key as 001, field status group ID as a G001, and save. Click on the save option. So we will be now taking the reference of this 100,301 in order to create the 100,302. So let's have here the another GL 100,302. Click on bit template button. Give the reference of 100,301. Enter. So now this GL is going to be for the state output GST, state output GST, state output GST account. Save. And the next is going to be 100,303. Again with template, again with the reference to 100,301, and this is going to be for the interstate output GST, output GST account. Save. So we have created the required GL. Now the next GL will be creating for the consumption and sales account. So first we'll be creating the consumption GL. So consumption GL we can create under the account group expense, and we can give here the number as 400,000. So this consumption GL we have already with us. Click on display option. So consumption GL we need to create under the type ID as primary cost or revenue. Then we can give here the account group as expense. Then we can give the short text long text as raw material consumption GL. Go to the control data tab. We can select here the only balance local currency checkbox, and then we can click on the change option. Here what else we can do? So we need to select here the text category as input text allowed. So press F4 key and select input text allowed. Input text allowed, only input text allowed, and select this checkbox posting without text allowed, and then we can just save it. Click on the save option. So because this is the expense account, we need to select here the cost element ID as cost element category as 1. Save it. Click on the save option. Same way for the revenue account, we can give here the number as 300,000 for the revenue account group. So here we have the 300,000, and for the 300,000, we need to give here the GL type ID as primary cost or revenue, account group as income, name as sales account, sales account. Go to the control data tab. Since it is a sales account, we need to give the cost element category as 11. Sort key is going to be same 001. And here we can select under the text category, we can select the option as only output text allowed plus sign, and we can also select this checkbox posting without text allowed, and then save. Field status group is going to be revenue, and for this expense it is going to be G04 cost. So we have created the GLs. So we need to create the tax calculation procedure, and in order to create the tax calculation procedure, we need to create the condition types. So these condition type we will be creating under the tax calculation procedure. So for this, we can go to the SPRO, IMG, and then we can go to the financial accounting global setting. Then we can go to the option tax on sales and purchases, basic setting, and we can go to this option called check calculation procedure. Click on this, and here we can go to this option called define condition type. Double click on the define condition type. So here we have been given already existing condition type. By taking a reference of existing condition type, we can create the new one. So here we have already a condition type. It is ZICG. So we can just double click on this, and then we can create the new condition type ID. And this new condition type ID, we are going to give it as ZGIC. Click on this copy as option. Give the name as ZGIC, input central GST. And this access sequence, it is going to be same MWST. Now we can press enter button. Press enter button. So this is how we have created the new condition type ZGIC. Similarly, we need to create the condition type for the state and interstate input GST. So click on the copy as option. Give the ID as ZGIS. Give the name as input state GST. All other information will remain same. Press enter button. Save. Enter. Then again click on the copy as option. After the central and state, we have the interstate GST. So click on the copy as option. ID is ZGII. Text we can give it as interstate input GST. Press enter button. Save it. So we have created here the input GST. Similarly, we will be creating 3 output GST. And for that output GST, we can give the ID as ZGOC, ZGOS, and ZGOI. So let's have here the first ID as ZGOC. Click on the copy as option. Give here the ID as ZGOC. So this is the output central GST. Press enter button, save it. Then we can click on the copy as option. The next ID we are taking here, it is ZGOS, and this is output state GST. Enter, save. Click on the copy as option. For the interstate, we can give here the ID as ZGOI, output interstate GST. Press enter button, save it, and then we can just go back. So these are the condition types we have created: ZGIC, ZGIS, ZGII, ZGOC, ZGOS, and ZGOI. So these are the 6 condition types we have created. So we'll be creating 6 separate account keys, and those account keys will be mapping against these condition types. So in order to create the account keys, we can follow the path or we can run the transaction code OBCN. So here we have the option called check and change setting for the text processing. We can click on this. So these account keys are also known as processes. So this ZIC, ZIS, ZII, then ZOC, ZOS, ZOI. So all these processes are already in the system. So we can use these account keys for our tax calculation. So we need to double click on this ZIC, and then we can just see here the ID. We have the description, and then we can just see the text type is correct, and the posting indicator is going to be 2, and then we can remove this checkbox not deductible, and then enter, save. Next, ZII, it is correct, then ZIC, so we can remove checkbox, posting indicator we can take it as 2, save. Then we have ZOC, so this is going to be, text type is going to be output text type is going to be 1, and again posting indicator 2, save. All these account keys are in the practice sheet, so you can refer to these account keys, and in your system if these account keys are not there, then you can create them. So since the same IDs we have in this system, so we can't create the duplicate entries, so I need to use these keys only: ZOC, then the next is ZOI, it is output IGST. Again type is going to be 1. Here also you can just notice here type is going to be 1, separate line item for the ZOC and ZOI and ZOS. Go to the next entry, ZOS, and it is going to be type as 1, posting indicator 2, output SGST. Save, and now we can go back. So we can now map these account keys again our condition type, and for that we need to create a new tax calculation procedure. And in order to create this new tax calculation procedure, we can go back. Once again, we can double click on calculation procedure and double click on the define procedure. Click on the new entry button. Here we can give the ID as 2266 TX, and this is the text we can give it. So we can give the description as tax calculation procedure. For 2266, save, enter. We can select this procedure 2266TX, go to the left side, control data. So we can click on the new entry button. Here we can give the step as 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, or we can also give the step as 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, or we can also give the step as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let it be the step as 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, So first of all, we will have the condition type for the base price, and this is going to be standard BASB. So let's search for the BASB, that is for the base price or base amount. So we can use this condition type ID BASB, and this is what? This is for the base amount or base price. So this we have maintained under the step number 10. So the reference of 10 we will be giving in the following steps. So we have the next condition type for the input text. It is ZGIC, ZGIS, ZGII. So ZGIC, ZGIS, ZGII, and for the output text we have ZGOC, ZGOS, and ZGOI. So we don't need to enter here the text. System will capture it automatically. What we need to do? So we can give the reference of this base amount in all these condition type. So we can give the reference as 10, 10, 10 for each of the new condition type we have created for the text calculation. Now press enter button. So we can just see system has captured the text, and now we can go on the right side and we can give the account key here. So we maintain the account key ID. We can click on the right side. So here we have the account key. So we can use this account key for the input central text. It is ZIC. Then the next is ZIS for the state GST, for the state input GST, ZII for the integrated GST, ZOC for the output central GST, ZOS for the output state GST, ZOI for the interstate output GST. Press enter button, save it, enter. Now under these account key, we will be assigning the GL, and we can go to the option assign country/region to the calculation procedure. Click on position button, country is US, and we can assign here the text calculation procedure ID 2266 TX, and then save. Click on the save option. So here we have company code OBY6 2266. So the country is US. So we need to select here the country as US only and assign the tax calculation procedure. But if your company code country is India, then you need to assign the tax calculation procedure to the country India. Then we can go to the step number 5 and we can create the tax codes. So these tax code we can create with the help of a transaction code FTXP. We can also follow the path. So we can go to the tax on sales and purchases. Then after that, we need to go to the calculation. Under the calculation, we have this option called define the tax code for the sales and purchases. Click on this. We need to specify our country ID. Country, we will be selecting here US, and we have our tax code ID, first IC. And for the IC, so it is 9% input central plus 9% state GST. So we can enter here percentage as 9% for the ZIC and ZIS, so 9%, 9%, then we can save it. After that, we have double I, integrated tax, and we can enter here 18% and then save. Then we have OC, again OC, state and center. So I'm putting here random percentage as 99% and then press enter button, save, and then we have OI and it is 18%. So now we can save it. We need to go to the step 7, assign the GL for the input and output text posting. Transaction code is OB40. We can also follow the path. So we can go to the posting. Under the posting, we have this option called define text account. We can click on this. And then we can go to the this transaction ZIC, select it. It is the input central GST. Then we can go to the rule, double click on this, and we can add the chart of account. Select text code, country, enter. Then we can select the chart of account ID, assign the GL, double click on the account, click on the new entry button. So we have the tax code ID IC for the central and state GST. So this time we will be assigning the GL for the central GST. Country is US because for the 2266 we have selected the country as US. Similarly, if you have maintained your company code for the country India, so you can select here the country IN and then assign the GL. So the first GL we will be assigning it is 200,201 Central Input GST. Save. Then we can go to the next transaction. ZIS, select it, go to the rule, add chart of account, select text code country, save, and then select chart of account, assign GL, double click on the account, new entry, text code once again IC, and country US, assign GL 200,202, enter, save. Then posting key we have ZII, again new entry, chart of account ID, text code country, enter, save, select chart of account, double click on account, new entry button, text code we have for integrated tax or interstate GST, II, country US, GL 200, 203, and save. Then we have double click on posting key, transaction is ZOC, output text, new entry, chart of account ID, select text code country, select chart of account, double click on account, click on new entry. For output text, we have central plus GST. The text code is OC, country US. GL we have 100,301, central output text GST. Save. Again, go to the posting key. This time we can select output state GST, ZOS. Go to the root, new entry, chart of account ID, text code country, select text code country, save, and then we can select the chart of account ID, assign GL, double click on account, new entry, text code again it is OC, country US, GL is 100,302, state output GST, and last we have ZOI, interstate, new entry, chart of account ID, 2266, text code country, save. Again, we can select chart of account, double click on account, new entry. It is OI, text code we have maintained OI, country is US for our company code, and GL we can maintain 100,303, interstate output GST. Save it. Now we can do the testing, and for the testing, we can go to the transaction code FB60. So here we will be posting AP invoice. We can select the vendor. Date is today's date, and we can mention here the amount as 10,000. Select this checkbox, calculate tax, and then we can select this drop down. Click on this drop down. So it will show you the tax code we have maintained IC, OC, OI. So we can select the first one, central and state GST, and then we can mention here the text, purchase invoice. We can mention here the GL, consumption GL. Then tax amount is asterisk, press enter button. So system is showing a difference of 1800. So 900 plus 900, 1800. So total amount system is suggesting us to enter here 11,800. Enter. So now the balance is 0. In order to see the text line item, click on the simulate button. System has derived the text line item 900 for the central and state GST. Raw material consumption it is 10,000 and remaining 1800 is the tax. IC, which will have both the central and state GST, 99%. So system has calculated the amount as 900, so total is 1800. So we can now post it, click on the post option, and then we can go and display it. So we can just see this is the posting we have. So vendor has been credited with 11,800, then 10,000 raw material consumption, and 900 we have for the GST, central and state. Now we can go back and we can also do the testing for the interstate GST. So again, we can select the same vendor, date, amount is 10,000. Then we can select here the tax code as II, 18% interstate GST. And then we have the text as purchase invoice. GL, we can mention consumption, amount is asterisk. And system is asking us to add 1800 in this amount, 10,000. So let's have here the amount as 11,800. So press enter button. Now the balance amount, we can just see it is showing as 0. So again, you can click on the simulate button and we can just see amount system is just showing as. So this time system has credited the vendor with 11,800 because here we have only the interstate GST with 18%. System has calculated the tax as 1800 and the GL is 20203. This is for the interstate input GST. So we can now save it. Click on the save option. 11,800 we have credited the vendor, 10,000 we have for the material consumption, and 1,800 we have for the interstate GST. So here we have this GST calculation on the net amount. If you want this GST calculation on the gross amount, for that you can go to the FB60 and you can click on this editing option. And we can just scroll down. And here we have the option. You want to calculate the tax on the net amount. So you can select this checkbox. If not, you want to have on the gross amount. In that case, you can remove the checkbox, save. And once again, we can do the posting with FB60 with the same vendor and date is today's date. Amount is also same, let's say 10,000. Calculate tax, IC, purchase invoice, and then we can give the consumption GL, amount is asterisk. So now if you just click on the simulate option, so you can just see this 762.762.71. So this time system has calculated the amount on the gross amount. So consumption GL system has debited with 8,474.58, vendor with 10,000, and the remaining amount system has split it into the central and state GST. We can save it. And once again, we can do the posting with the gross amount. With the interstate GST, amount is again 10,000. II is the code. This is the purchase invoice. Consumption GL, amount asterisk, and we can click on simulate button. So we can just see amount is same 8474.58 and this time 18%. So system has calculated the amount as 1525.42. So we have the option we want to calculate on the net amount or on the gross amount. In the document splitting video, we have seen that how system is going to split the vendor customer line item. So now we have the text line item. So we can also see the impact of document splitting on the text line item. So we can calculate it once again on the net amount. So go to the editing option, select this checkbox, calculate text on the net amount, save. Once again, go to the FB60 and we can select the vendor date. Then we can select here the enter the amount as 10,000, calculate text, IC, and then we can have the text. This time we will be using two different cost center for the same cost element. Amount is 6,000, 4,000, and cost center for the first line item 101, for the second 102, enter. So we have a difference of 1800. Let's have here the amount as 11,800. Tax amount 11,800. So now the difference is 0. So we can click on the simulate button and we can just see we have the material consumption for the first cost center, second cost center. It is 6,000 for the first cost center, 6,000 for the second, 4,000, and we have 10,000 total. So on that we have 99%. It is 900, 900, 1,800. Total amount is 11,800. So now we can click on the save option, post it. Now we'll see the impact of document splitting on the text line item. Go to the menu document display and then we can see here we have the vendor line item without profit center, text line item without profit center. So now I'll just click on the GL view. What will happen? This 11,800 will be divided into the two parts. So first part will go to the profit center 1, remaining will go to the profit center 2, and also this 900, 900. So this will also be split into the two parts. So first will go to the profit center 1 and second will go to the profit center 2. So we can click on the GL view or general ledger view and we can just see this 11,800 system has split it into the two part. So first has gone to profit center 22,661, another has gone to 22,662. Then we can also see here the 900 out of 900, 540 system has assigned to the profit center 22,661 and remaining 360 system has assigned to 22,662. Same for the state GST. So based on this amount proportion, system has splitted this 580 and 360 to the profit center 1 and 2. So this is how we can see the impact of document splitting for the text line item as well. So if you want to try for the interstate GST, so we can once again do one posting for the interstate GST. Amount is 11,800 and this is for the double I and we have consumption GL for two different profit center, for two different cost center and profit center. So we have the cost center 101, 102. Click on the simulate option. So this is the total interstate GST 1800. Save. Now see the document splitting impact on the 1800. So here we have this entry view. Go to the GL view to see the impact. So we can now click on the general ledger view. So out of this 1800, system has assigned this 1800 to the profit center, 22,661. Remaining 720 system has assigned to the profit center, 22,662. So once again, this splitting system has made based on the amount proportion we have for the first and second line item in the consumption GL for the profit center 1 and 2. So this is the text and the document splitting testing we have done for the AP invoice. So we can also do it for the AR invoice. And for the AR invoice, we can go to the transaction code FB70 and we can mention here the customer. Then we can mention here the date and we can mention here the amount, let's say 10,000. And then we can click on the calculate tax and this time we can select the OC output 9% central and state GST. And this is what sales posting and we have the revenue account 300,000. Amount is asterisk for the line item. Here we can mention system is suggesting us because we have selected the option tax on the net amount. So we can enter here the amount as 11,800. Simulate. So we can just see the sales revenue posting system has debited the customer with 11,800 and 10,000 we have the sales account. System has credited the 10,000 sales account, and remaining 1,800 system has assigned to the central and state GST. So we can now save it, and we can now display. So here we can just see we have the customer debited with 11,800. Then we have the sales account 10,000, and 900 system has assigned to the central and state GST output tax. So for this also we can do the testing for the interstate GST. So once again go to the FB70, select the customer, date, and this time we can select the amount 11,800, and we can select the tax code as Y, output interstate 18%, sales invoice, GL we have the revenue, and amount is 10,000. Amount is 10,000, and the remaining 1,800 is the tax. So this is how system has balanced the both the side. So now we can click on the simulate button. So we have 1,800 amount, 1,800 amount as a interstate GST. So we can now save, and we can display. So with this, we have completed the testing for our tax calculation procedures. So this is how we can do the posting for our AP and AR invoices with the tax line item. So this practice sheet document, you will be able to get it under the resource folder. Thank you.